What you cooking, Mom?
Cut. Fucking cut.
Now I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go purchase one. That's the problem.
This ain't for me. I was like,
the background is mom and dad was addicted to crack cocaine. Okay. Right?
All praises to the Most High. Hi, how are you? Welcome to another episode of the Doc Holliday Show, where we love to uplift black men, black woman, black teen, black child, black royalty, the magically melanated. Today, I am joined by a true magically melanated royal, a true brilliant mind. See, my next guest, this guest today is one of the main reasons why I started the Doc Holliday Show, to show positive, great images of magically melanated royals, aka black people. And today I welcome Brother Moses West to the Doc Holliday Show. Brother West, first of all, thank you for joining us, man. And how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, thank you.
Now, Brother West, now I know. Brilliant mind, great inventor. That's why he's on the show. Brother West invented a machine that when people say you can't get nothing out of thin air, Brother West was like, I bet you's a lie. I'm gonna show you we can get something out of thin air. So, Brother West, first of all, just give the people a little bit of your background and what you have invented and created, which brings you here and which is helping not just people in America, but people on Earth.
Yeah, well, a little bit of my background is like everybody knows. I've done a few interviews. I'm a retired military officer. I think my proudest moment in the military is I'm a Ranger and member of the 75th Ranger Regiment. Pilot, test pilot, commissioned officer, and I'm not the inventor of the technology. What I am is I'm an innovator of the technology. What I did was I took something that was already on the use and on the shelf, being produced by other countries, and what I did was I took that to the next level and made it so that I could actually build a building. We don't know how big I can build it, but I could build 100,000 square foot water generator. I could build a building that would make tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of gallons of water a day. That's what I figured out.
And how did you get to that point? Because I mean, when you innovate something and take something to another level, to me that's an invention, because you took something else and you added something and you made it greater. So that's a whole nother level to things. But what made you even go that route, and something that inspired you to even want to do that?
Well, it's the same thing. It's like when we had a Model T, we went from a Model T to a Tesla.
Yeah.
We went from a biplane to a 747 to an SR-71. And so right now what we're doing, hold on one second.
No, that's fine. Go ahead.
So right now what we're doing is we're always taking a technology, and we're always advancing it. And so I saw that there was going to be a need for water in the future, and the natural states of water are liquid and a solid and a gas. And we see it every day when we sit and we're having iced tea at a table or cold beer in a glass in the summertime down in Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi. That glass sweats, right?
Yeah.
That's water in the air. And if you put a bucket of ice on the table, what would happen on the outside of that bucket of ice? What would happen to it?
It's going to sweat.
Yeah, it's pretty common sense. So what I did was I made a machine that does that like a nuclear reactor. And that's what I did.
And when did you start this process? How long? Because I know where you are now, but when did you start this process, and how long did it take you to get to this point?
It took me, I've been at this for 12 years. So one, I had to believe in myself that I could get it done. I had to come to a place where I could get it done. And so that's where I came back to Texas. I was in Hawaii when I first discovered I saw a little machine that, sells for $200 or $300, and it made probably 5 liters of water a day. And I just said, that's pretty unique. But if I could make one bigger, that's the key right there. So basically I said, if I could shrink myself down to 3 inches tall, and I had a machine that big, which is possible. I can't shrink myself, but I can dang sure take that machine and make it bigger, because all those components exist in the mechanical and engineering world. And that's what I did. And then I started to work on decreasing the energy consumption. So basically taking the most plentiful source of water that we have on the face of the earth, pure, clean water that's around us every day, in humidity. Ask any woman or any guy who's done his hair and he goes outside and the humidity, it's like, I just wasted $75. I don't have to worry about that.
You don't. It's okay. You're cool.
But that humidity is in the air. And so this technology, what I did is I added a second stage to it that makes it expandable, whereas no one had done that before. And so the technology that I have, I've already implemented it. It's in use with the United States military. It's in use with the Marines. It's in the Pacific. It's on Guam, Okinawa. It's in Hawaii, and it's with the United States Army. And then I have it. I started a foundation, and the Moses West Foundation. What that does is that allows me to take surplus military equipment or things that I've done in testing and development and take those to communities and show them how it operates, get them involved with it so they understand they're not going to run out of water. And if there's a natural disaster, I have enough machines available by donating to the nonprofit side of what I do, I'm able to go into a community and show them what's possible and actually save a few lives in the process.
I mean, I say what you do and what you're doing is absolutely amazing. When I first saw your story, I said, I got to get this brother on. I got to get this brother on the show. Now, Brother West, talking about now, when you first started this, you said 12 years ago, because a lot of people have great ideas and they be afraid to move toward those ideas. And once they hit some challenges, they just be like, I knew it wasn't going to work. I'm just going to quit. So talk about some of those early struggles and those early challenges and where you were mentally and how did you push through any doubts that you may have had for yourself?
I never doubted myself. There's this thing that we're taught. It's like when you think that you've got nothing left, and some guy would look down at you and say, "Can you open your eyes?" And you look at him and say, "Yeah, I can open my eyes." You got energy to open your eyes. You got energy to walk another 25 miles. Get up. Yeah. And I transfer that over into doing this because there were some days when I was doing testing with the military down in the motor pool, and I would be on my feet 18 hours a day trying to get. I would have two 26,000-pound machines, keeping those going. All the cables weighed over a ton, and you have to move them by 5 feet by 5 feet. Driving forklifts. Just standing on my feet, standing on top of 12-foot ladders because machines were high off the ground in the middle of the night programming. And I knew that every day when I was making 5,000 or more gallons of water and pouring it into a field and soldiers were using it and it was going through the testing process, I knew that I had to keep going because this could not just die right here because I was the only person who was doing that in the state of Texas. In the United States, and under the oversight of the United States military and the Texas Commission of Environmental Quality and the state of Texas, the government of the state of Texas. So I had to succeed. It was me.
And where does that drive come from? Parents, upbringing? I mean, where does that drive come from?
I think it's in us. We're warriors. We're warriors.
Yes.
we come from even the European side of my bloodline, the African side of my bloodline. You could just look at how we're built. We're built for battle. We're built for it. And so you take that and you use that strength and that inner energy, that inner calm and that inner peace that comes with staying focused. And there's no failure. Failure is not an option. There's no problems. There's only opportunities. And that's just the warrior mentality.
I totally agree with that, and I love it. But is there any kind of way to simplify an explanation of the process because it's water here? I mean, it's so simple, but yet it's so complex. Now looking at you and watching what you do, I just be wanting to bite the air and be like, I want to get some water, but it ain't that simple. Is there any kind of way you to simplify this whole process of extracting water out of it? Because we got water molecules all over the place. Is there any kind of way that, to simplify the explanation?
Yes, I can. It's the same as that, like I just said, having that glass that's sweating, right? But now what I do is there's a surface area inside the machine. You see this thing like in a home air conditioner or a refrigerator. It's that thing that gets cold. But what I do is I design that a certain way. I make it a certain size, and I keep it a certain temperature, and I move air over it, a certain volume of air over the air that comes over the surface area. It comes at a certain volume. We call it CFM. And so you're controlling the airflow over that. So as soon as the air comes over in the surface area, the air goes through the coil, pulls the moisture off the air and sends that air out. It's pulling more air in. So what you're doing is the same thing that happens up in the clouds with rain. You see the rain coming down, right?
Yes, sir.
Coming from the cloud. That's because there's warm, moist air that goes up into the cloud, and then up at altitude, it's colder. So what happens is that warm, moist air condenses on dust particles and falls to the earth in rain. I do the same thing, except my dust particles are the surface area in the machine. The temperature in the machine is what I control. And then the airflow over the machine is the warm, moist air. And so you're basically straining the water that's out of the air around us using mechanical principles. That's as simple as I can put it. And if you're along the Gulf Coast right now, I'm working with some people in Florida, you're never going to run out of water. The sun barely stops shining in Florida. It's sitting there. It's so humid. One of the things I don't like about Florida is the humidity. It's just really very humid. But that's the place where you can make millions of gallons of water on sunlight.
Wow. Absolutely outstanding. Now, your first unit that you constructed and sent out into the world on Earth, where was it and how was it received?
Oh, it was in Puerto Rico after Hurricane Maria. Oh, you please just have your audience just go out and Google it. I mean, a Washington Post came out and did an article. It was well photographed, well documented, and we ran on solar power. But I actually took one of the machines off the military base that I was doing testing with on the base, took it to Puerto Rico, took a machine from the military base, is one of the same ones that was out there testing in the military, and took that one to Flint as well. So the first mission was after Hurricane Maria in Flint. How was it received? They trolled the heck out of me. They said, "Oh, this guy's just coming out for the money. Oh, this is impossible. There's no way he's going to pull 1,000 gallons of water out of the air every day." Little did they know I've been doing that for the past 3 years. So I just said, the machine's just got to get there. And so as soon as I showed up, the trolls were hitting me left and right, all on social media, talking about how it's just a charlatan and whatever. And we wound up supplying 5,000 people with drinking water. You know what it did? It shut the trolls up.
So you didn't actually verbally have to shoot back at them. You just let your machine do your talking.
You know that old saying from back in the day when someone comes up and we had all the muscle cars and somebody wanted to drag away shit. You wouldn't say anything. You just sit back and said, "I'm gonna let the machine do the talking."
Oh man, that had to have been so exhilarating. And I got to tell you, brother West, I mean, you better than me because I would have had to snap back. I'm gonna snap back. Then I'm gonna let my machine snap back at you too. Run your mouth. But how many machines have you put out? Because you've helped a lot of people with this innovative technology.
Right now, the most machines I'm putting out right now is actually with the military. I'm putting the machines with the Marines and with the Army. And then on the civilian side of the house, it's just I've helped tens of thousands of people with the big machines that I've put out there. And the mission going into Sand Branch, that wasn't a great success because we're just coming out of COVID and all the supply chain issues that we've got. It was difficult it was difficult to find generators, forklifts, pumps, trucks, trailers, just to do the job. And then we had climate events. We had a brush fire come through. And so it was difficult to best get things done. But how many people we helped? Tens of thousands.
And how does that make you feel to see the look on their face, especially when the water comes out and it looks so crystal clear? See, we got some good tasting water in here in Memphis, Brother West. But seeing the water come out of your machine, I was like, oh, that water looks so clear. It look like it tastes so good. I don't even have to add nothing to it, no lemons or anything.
Well, it's a great feeling, and especially like one of the things that happened in Puerto Rico is like the water is produced inside it. It comes down, and when you open up this drain, it just flows out of the side, and it's got this beautiful look to it, like mountain spring water.
Yeah. And
people would look at it and they say, "Can I have that?" And I was like, "Well, by federal law, I have to make it go through the filters." And they were like, "Oh no, please let us drink that water." I was like, a couple of people. I said, "Okay." So I showed it to a couple of people, and that's where they got the water every day, and they loved it. So to give people fresh water, it's like some people like to get money, and then some people like to give. But once you have the gift of giving, especially the giving of water, which is the foundation of all life, once you've done it, it's like one of those things. It's like, whoa, I got to do that again.
It becomes intoxicating, huh?
Yeah, it is. It's like nobody hates the water, man.
No, they don't, except for people who don't like to take a bath, but everybody else, you need. Hey, Brother West, just now I know you've had to deal with trolls, but just talk about some of the other pushback you've received, because I saw one story where I think your machine in Flint was actually vandalized, and it looks like whoever messed with it knew exactly what they were doing, because they specifically targeted certain aspects and parts of your machine.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Is whenever you're doing anything where this is a disruptor. This is a disruptor of a very big profit-based organization where you're allowing people to actually produce their own water and power at home. When you're able to do that for people, that means you're going to be able to go off grid. You're going to be able to go off a public utility. Then other companies that do the same thing that you do, they're very competitive. I've had technology stolen from me. I've had people try to troll me, keep me in court, do all kinds of different things. And this is something that I've invented myself, that I own all the intellectual property for it. But there are people who want to try to slow you down, get next to you, get beside it, and it slows the process down of getting it out to the public. And so on my foundational side of the house, that's why I do that, is so that it goes past all of that, and then I can go right to a community and show them what it's done, put some silly video out on Instagram and just show what I'm doing, show how it works, get public support behind it. People donate to that, and then I'm able to go to these communities and share the technology firsthand, teach classes to children. Like this weekend, I'm teaching Zoom classes to children globally through my foundational work.
And what is the name of your foundation, Brother West?
Oh, the Moses West Foundation. And I made that foundation so that as I continue to do this, and as it will grow, there's lots of intellectual property, and there's a massive amount of profit that'll be made in the very near future with this technology. And what I decided to do is I decided to plow all my profits back into the Moses West Foundation. So that's a reservoir that hopefully cuts water. Every person needs it, but if you're able to make it, and the people who can buy it, purchase it, and the equipment, there's a massive amount of profit to be made in that. And so all that profit, I plan on putting that into my foundation. And so the Moses West Foundation, hopefully someday we'll be able to give scholarships to children, teach innovative technology to children, assist people in ways that we weren't able to assist before. It's kind of like a public trust.
Got it. And what's your hometown? And where are you from? What's your hometown?
Hey, I was born in Columbus, Georgia, and you just said Memphis. It's funny you say that because I was just in Memphis a couple of days ago.
Wow, Brother West, he big time this Cassius over there. You got my number. I would have loved to have met you in person. What brought you to Memphis?
I was passing through Memphis because I've got on my for-profit side of the company, A.W.G contracting. I've got equipment to build. I've got machines. I've got contracts to fill, and I have to get back. I had to get back to work, so I had to leave Texas, which I had to leave Texas and get back into work. Texas was hot.
Yeah, I mean, you just recently, because you were supposed to be on the show a couple of weeks ago, but you had a mission you were on down there in Texas. Talk about that. How did that go? Because I know you got busy the day you were supposed to come on, and I totally understand it, and I love it, and I respect it.
Oh yeah, what happened down there is we set the house up that we were in, and it was running on the atmospheric water generator. What we did not expect to have was we had temperatures every day in excess of 110 degrees. Wow. It was so hot down there you couldn't move. And then we had a brush fire. And so on the house we disconnected the well from the house because we were getting ready to install the pump to run the house completely on the atmospheric water generator. We did it for one day. So that's the first time the house actually ran on the water generator. But then, as it happens with many things that I do, because everyone can follow what I'm doing on social media, there's a few companies out there that like to follow me, and they like to come into a neighborhood. They have deep pockets, and then what they'll do is they'll come in and they'll actually try to come in behind what I do. But this time it was very unique. The company came in and actually sat down. They were going to have a large corporate company has a similar technology that produces water. They were going to actually sit down on the property where I was at. This is the kind of thing that happens. And that's when I decided, well, it's actually time for me to leave. But then the fire came through and we didn't have everything set up, but we did actually get to fight the forest fire on NBC. We got to put a fire out and we got to save a cameraman's life. So that was good. But yeah, it was when it was time to leave, it was time to leave and take another mission on.
Hold on, Brother Moses, before we get out of here. I just can't let you skirt through the fact that you all saved a cameraman's life and they actually used your technology and your machine to put out the brush fire.
Yeah. The NBC cameraman who did the story, they've got all the footage, but we were sitting there, we're doing the interview, and the fire started burning up in the top of the tree. And he goes, he said, what are we going to do? I said, well, you know what? Let's just stop the interview real quick. And let's just put that fire out before someone calls 911 again or before it spreads. So he took out a small camera and I fired up we had 500 gallons of water and under a high pressure pump, we just plugged it in and shot the top of the tree and put the fire out. And then the cameraman, it's all on my Instagram page. And the cameraman, he started getting dizzy. And then so we ran about 50 gallons of cold water over his head while he sat in the chair over his clothes and everything, as he was about to have heat stroke.
Wow.
And so we saved a life and put out a forest fire in one day with an atmospheric water generator and the water that it made and stored.
So let me get this straight. Moses West. So Moses West, you were somewhere and we actually saw a burning bush. The burning bush presented itself. And I know the Moses we know about, he parted the Red Sea. Now I'm wondering, when Moses parted the Red Sea, did he just leave, did the Most High said, leave some in the air because I'm going to bring another Moses that's going to be able to snatch this water down and put it in the machine? I mean, come on. I mean, that's the miracle type stuff to me, Brother West. I mean, Mr. Moses.
Yeah, you were absolutely right, because it was leaving under the circumstances we're leaving under, and then having NBC come out that next day and do that filming. I was just like, wow. I mean, it's if you can't say that the universe is looking out for you, then I mean, my goodness, I mean, that's recorded for all history, and they have the footage.
And I love it, man. We got the burning bush, and Moses put out the burning bush was kind of talking to you, just like it was talking to It was talking to you like, come help me. I'm finna show some miracles that you can do, Mr. Moses West. Now, what's your ultimate goal with everything that you're doing with the foundation? And because I'm pretty sure with all that knowledge you have in that, and you don't really need any hair, because I think the hair will just obstruct all that thought that's coming in your head. So you cool, but what's your ultimate goal with your foundation? And I'm pretty sure you probably got your mind to invent and innovate other things.
Almost definitely. The end goal of what I want to do is all you have to do is look at the news, and you can see on the news where we're at right now. Right now I lived in Europe for a large portion of my life. I lived in Australia for 11 years. So I've lived outside the United States, actually probably more than I've lived inside of the United States. And I've gotten to see the global environment change over the course of the past, 50 years. And what I've seen is we are running out of water. And if you look at Lake Mead right now, it's at a level that was lower than when they first built Hoover Dam, Boulder Dam, when they first built it. And if someone says that, well, we can get past this thing. No, you can't. California, it's like people don't want to go out on a limb and say these things. I'll go out on a limb and I'll tell you right now, the West Coast is going to run out of water. They're going to run out of water. This is a trend that's not going backwards. It's been a trend for 22 years. It's not changing. They're going to run out of water. And then we have glaciers that feed all of the rivers around the world. The glaciers are popping. They're breaking apart, rushing down the hill, and they're killing people. And these are the glaciers that ran the big rivers, the Yalu, the Yellow, the Yangtze. All of these big rivers that run around the world are from glacial water. And those glaciers are just melting instantly like an ice cube in the sun. And so with this technology, this is going to be imperative that this technology is out in the open and accessible to everybody, because it's so simple. Like even here in Illinois, I could put a water generator in the backyard and I could be making 1,000 gallons of water a day. But I don't need to, because I'm next to Lake Michigan. But This is something that the world has to have, because we are right now in a global catastrophe. We're past the tipping point in climate change.
Wow. Now, with all that, do you still get any threats? I mean, you get threats, emails?
The only threats I get are mainly from, you get trolled a bit, but that's about it. But for the most part, the support the support and the letters that I receive from everybody are 100% supportive. 100% supportive. The only trolling I get are from other companies that do the same thing that I do.
But do we have to? I think we should remind them that you are I don't think it's such thing as a former ranger. Yeah, I mean, you were a ranger, and rangers teach you all different ways to put people in their damn place.
I call it situational awareness. Just be aware of your situations and your surroundings. It was tough, and it was tough in the last place I was at, because I actually moved. I had a U.S. Air Force 26-foot travel trailer that I moved onto the property that I was staying on. But when I was staying out there, I could actually, at the night, I could hear semi-automatic, high-caliber rifle fire at night, 25, 30 feet from where I was sleeping. So that was a little bit intense for me. So, yeah.
But see, people have to understand. Not only are you're a ranger, I ain't gonna say former ranger, because I'm pretty sure you look fit. Not only that, but you do work for the military, so they do know who your friends are, right?
Oh, I think they know. I love my actual association being a U.S. military contractor and building equipment for the military. It's like as a soldier, and then to be a former soldier, but then to be able to supply a piece of essential equipment to the warfighter is just an incredible honor to be able to do that. Incredible. So, and still be able to train soldiers as well.
Well, I appreciate you. I have so much respect for you. My dad is a former Marine. My daughter is in the Army right now. My uncles are in the Army, and I got Air Force, Navy. So I appreciate your service to protecting us and helping us, and also giving to the world, because it's absolutely amazing. And I thank you for taking the time to come on this show. But anything else you want to add before we get out of here? Moses West, I want to show you all the proper respect, because I don't want the Most High bothering me if I said something to you I ain't supposed to say.
Well, just know that you're not going to run out of water. And as long as I'm able to do what I'm able to do, like right now, I want to go into there. I've gotten contacted by some Native Americans. They need water generators. I've gotten contacted by people in Puerto Rico. They need water generators. The water generators, run in excess of $80,000. So if I get $100,000 in donations, what I do with the donations is I build a machine, or if I have a machine, I will send a machine someplace. I'm not going on any more deployments. So what I'll do is I'll bring a group of people to my factory. I'll teach them how to use the machine, and I'll ship it for them to where it needs to go with them, all trained on how to operate it. But there's so many people around the world or around the United States that need these. I've got a meeting with the mayor of Jackson, Mississippi, because they've got some water issues. We've got water issues in Florida. You know about the water issues in California. Mm-hmm. So the Moses West Foundation, there's a GoFundMe on my Instagram page that supports what we do, pays for the things that we need to do, and shipping on machine, repairing a machine, and getting to where it needs to go. So just those simple things, just a little donation here or there to help support those missions, or get enough money in there to purchase a water generator to actually give to a community in need.
Well, I guess my guy Cassius McGowan with ISF Production, who's running all this, he's going to make sure all them graphics and your Instagram page and your Moses West Foundation is superimposed when this interview airs. But I want to thank you so much again. And I use my gavel, but see, this gavel has a lot of different names. But today, this is the gavel of all kinds of respect, appreciation, because brilliant minds like yours, Brother West, I appreciate it, because I tell black men, black women, before we were pushed to play sports, these are the kind of things we were doing. So I thank you so much for using your skill and your ability and your knowledge, man, that's going to help everybody on earth. Not earth, because earth is different than earth. Earth is everybody in the hood. We need water. That's earth.
Every kid out there needs to understand, because they're looking at us and saying, what kind of planet did you leave us? Yeah. I'm telling you, this technology that I've made, it is absolutely essential, because it is now it's easier for you to make water out of the air than to pull it out of the ground.
Wow.
So you could set a machine in your backyard, or you could power your whole house and your neighbor's house.
Wow.
And have a garden.
But how
a fish pond.
And a who? And a fish pond?
An Olympic-sized swimming pool.
Did you say fish pond? See, now you're making me think about Martin and Varnell Hill with like when Martin said, well, salmon? Varnell said, yes, salmon. Salmon in the fish pond? But how can we protect it? Because a lot of times in the hood, people try to hook up to your cable. They try to hook up to your electricity. I mean, how can you keep it like, nope, you got to come over here so I can help you out? But I just love the whole process, Brother West.
How do you do it? What you do is my machines are I can make them so big and so efficiently. If you're making so much of it, you can just give it away. That's the whole point.
Gotcha.
Make enough to share with your neighbor. That's why I don't make small machines. That's why I make a machine that you can fit in the back of a pickup truck.
Yeah.
So that way you're sitting there, you're making 500 gallons of water. You're like, yeah, man, you can have 50 gallons. Yeah. I got plenty to spare.
Wow. Well, Brother West, I appreciate you so much, man, and thank you for joining us. And I wish you all the success, much more success than you already have. And thank you for everything that you're doing and everything that you've done and everything that you're going to do.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. Hey, when you get the chance, tell you what, stay in contact with me. And these machines that I'm building right now, you can come up and you can do a podcast from up here at the shop, and I'll show you what a military machine looks like. The ones that go to the military.
Of course. Me and ISF Productions will hit the road in a minute for something like that. So I am going to keep in touch, and you just let me know and we'll be there.
All right. It's a firm date then.
Appreciate you, Brother West. And that's going to do it for another great episode of the Doc Holliday Show, where we had the brilliant mind. See, this is what the show is about. Brothers and sisters like Moses West. I mean, I'm still, I just love the fact that Brother West can say he an inventor. I call him a great inventor, because to take water out of the air, we know it's Cassius, can you just imagine that, bro? I'm sitting here like this right here. I'm biting the air. You know what I'm saying? To be able to do that, bro. So much love and respect for Brother Moses West. So that's going to do it for another episode of the Doc Holliday Show, where we love to uplift black men, black women, black teen, black child, black royalty, the magically melanatist. Brother Moses West. I ain't taking water out of that. Thank you, brother. Thank you, God. For people like Moses West. Appreciate it. And thank you all for watching. We done. I want some water. Not out of this. Out of this. Need Moses West invention, man, because I can't get it. Mouth dry in the mug, dog. But thank you all. Appreciate you.
What you